Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
Whenever someone thinks of Will Smith lately, his epic slap to Chris Rock at the 2022 Oscars is the only thing that comes to mind. But let's be real, the real knockout punch landed squarely on Will Smith's career. Ever since that infamous moment, Will has been trying to climb out of the hole he dug for himself. But the latest blow made sure that doesn't happen anytime soon. Sony has reportedly pulled the plug on a massive sci-fi epic starring Smith, and his beloved Men in Black 5 is teetering on the edge of oblivion. So what's really happening? Let's break it down.
Let's put it on.
Put what on?
The last suit you'll ever wear.
Will Smith was once the definition of box office gold. Independence Day, Bad Boys, Men in Black, his name alone could sell a movie. But after the slap, audiences started seeing him differently. Fans started walking away, critics sharpened their pens, and studio executives got cold feet. Now, Sony has been working on Men in Black 5, and word on the street was that they were looking to pair Will Smith with Chris Hemsworth for this adventure. But given all the backlash in recent years, it is now reportedly in a struggling phase. After taking massive hits with Madame Web and Kraven the Hunter, the studio can't afford another flop. And right now, casting Smith feels like gambling on a sinking ship. Hollywood runs on bankable stars, and Smith isn't one at the moment.
Was it as easy as it looked?
No, sir. No, sir.
As if Will's Hollywood troubles weren't bad enough, Jada Pinkett Smith added fuel to the fire. If there's one thing Mrs. Pinkett Smith loves more than a red table, it's a free ride on Will's career, and word on the street is she was plotting another one. Reports say she was angling for a role in one of Will's upcoming projects, but Sony wasn't exactly rolling out the red carpet. And can you blame them? Jada comes with more baggage than a first-class flight to Dramaville. If history has taught us anything, it's that she drags Will into chaos, wipes her hands clean, and acts like she had nothing to do with it, just like at the Oscars.
What is going on right
keep
now?
my wife's name
out of your
Yes,
mouth,
yes,
right? And I'm
yes.
like, but now I'm really worried for Will because I don't know what's going on.
You became the bad guy. Look what
Yeah.
Jada made him do. Jada rolled her eyes, and look what he did. He ran up there and hit Chris.
Yeah.
Poor Will. That's what the narrative became.
Yeah.
One minute she's giving Will the look, the next he's slapping Chris Rock, and then poof, she's suddenly too classy for violence when the backlash hits. Classic. Well, she's at it again. This time, she reportedly pushed for a role in Men in Black 5, and when Sony said no, she threw a tantrum. She wanted Will to pressure the studio into giving her the part, but Sony didn't budge an inch. Their executives weren't about to hand out nepotism deals, especially when Jada's box office record is, well, not great.
NDI like him. Zion was stuck in the past, stuck in war, stuck in a matrix of its own. They believed that it had to be us or them.
The Matrix Resurrections flopped, and let's be real, Jada isn't exactly a box office draw. But Will, being Will, pushed back anyway, making things even uglier. And honestly, it's refreshing to see a studio finally stand its ground. Hollywood has had enough of these drama magnets. They want stars who bring in audiences, not headlines. And Sony has made it crystal clear, they're here to make movies, not babysit celebrity meltdowns. But of course, the Smiths didn't take the rejection well. Will kept pushing, pleading, and twisting Sony's arm. But instead of getting his way, he only made things worse. Sony didn't just reject Jada. They're now pulling back on Will too. In fact, sources say he finally snapped at Jada because her antics just cost him a whopping $30 million. That's right. Will was demanding over $100 million to return as Agent J, but thanks to the drama, Sony slashed his paycheck to $70 million. And to say he's furious would be putting it lightly. And just when you think this Hollywood horror story couldn't get any messier, it does.
But at the end of the day, I lost it.
Behind the scenes, things between Will and Jada are at a breaking point. Sony executives are beyond fed up with her constant interference. And now, Men in Black 5 is an absolute production disaster. Will, caught in the middle, is reportedly snapping at Jada himself, telling her to back off before she destroys his career completely. To make matters worse, Sony isn't just cutting his paycheck. They're already considering a full-blown recast of Agent J. If Will so much as flinches over the new offer, he's out. And let's be honest, that role is his legacy. If someone else steps in, Will might never recover.
You know what the difference is between you and me? I make this look good.
Will Smith isn't just losing roles, he's losing credibility. His outbursts, demands, and insistence on bringing Jada into his projects have made him a liability. Hollywood loves a redemption story, but only if the star is willing to play by the industry's rules. Right now, Smith seems to be rewriting his own script, and studios aren't interested in the final act. And if we're being truthful, does anyone even want Men in Black 5? The franchise peaked at Men in Black 2. The fourth installment, Men in Black International, flopped so hard that most people forgot it existed.
Don't worry, it's all part of the plan.
Sony might be doing itself a favor even if they decide to let this one go. As for Smith, his options are running out. He can't rely on the same star power he once had, and his attempts to force Jada back into the spotlight are backfiring. Hollywood is shifting, looking for fresh faces and leaving behind those who bring too much baggage. The entertainment industry has seen major comebacks before. Robert Downey Jr. went from Hollywood exile to Marvel's biggest star. Mel Gibson clawed his way back from controversy. Even Johnny Depp, after years of legal battles, is seeing a resurgence. But Smith's road to redemption isn't looking easy. For one, he hasn't truly owned up to his mistakes. His apologies have felt more like PR damage control than genuine remorse.
In this business, you got to be able to have people disrespecting you. And you got to smile and you got to pretend like that's okay. Denzel said to me a few minutes ago, he said, at your highest moment, be careful, that's when the devil comes for you.
Meanwhile, Jada's comments about their marriage, her entanglements, and her tendency to throw Will under the bus in interviews haven't helped his case. If Smith wants to repair his image, he needs to step away from the drama, focus on solid projects, and prove he's still the star audiences once loved. That means no outbursts, no demands for massive paychecks, and no behind-the-scenes battles to force Jada into roles she wasn't cast for. The slap changed everything. What was meant to be a night of celebration turned into the moment that defined Will Smith's downfall. Now he's facing a Hollywood freeze-out, canceled projects, and an uncertain future. But while Will was the one who actually threw the slap, you can't ignore Jada's role in all of this. The way Will keeps making one bad decision after another just for Jada makes one wonder, does she have something on him? Or is he simply too blinded by love, loyalty, or obligation to see the damage she's causing?
Mind you, I'm not there. We haven't called each other husband and wife in a long time. But I'm like, what is going on right
keep
now?
my wife's name
out of your
Yes.
mouth.
It's almost like watching someone willingly walk into a burning building over and over again, convinced they can put out the flames when, in reality, they're just fueling the fire. Ever since the Oscars fiasco, Will's career has been spiraling, and every time it looks like he might find a way out, Jada somehow ends up at the center of the chaos. Whether it's her public revelations about their marriage, her attempts to force her way into his Hollywood deals, or her uncanny ability to stir up controversy just when things are settling down, she's always there, making things worse. At this point, it's impossible to ignore the pattern. The question is, will Will finally wake up and take control of his own narrative? Or will he continue letting Jada pull the strings until there's nothing left of his career to salvage?